I think I'm going to jail for defending my husband. I want to be clear about something before I explain what happened. I am not a violent person. I've never been in a fight. I've never even raised my voice at a stranger. I'm 22 years old. I'm 4 months pregnant, and up until last Tuesday, I would have described myself as someone who handles things calmly. I do not handle things calmly anymore, apparently. My husband has autism. He's had it his whole life, and we've been together since we were 16. So I've had a long time to understand how he works and what he needs. One of the things he does, one of my favorite things about him, honestly, is that wherever we go, he draws whatever's in front of him. Parks, parking lots, waiting rooms, restaurant tables. He always has a sketchbook. He always has his colored pencils in a little canvas case that he's had since middle school. It's just who he is. We went to the park on Tuesday because I needed air and he wanted to draw. He found a picnic table near some trees he liked and set up his stuff. And I sat across from him for a while just watching him work. He gets completely focused. The whole world goes quiet for him. He was drawing the tree line, taking his time with the colors, and I got a work call I genuinely couldn't ignore. I told him I'd be right back. He nodded without looking up. He was fine. I walked maybe 50 feet away into the call. It lasted about 10 minutes. I was facing away from him for most of it. When I turned back around, there was a woman standing at his table. She was maybe late 20s, early 30s. She was leaning over his sketchbook with this expression on her face that I can only describe as contemptuous, and she was laughing, not a light laugh, the kind that's meant to humiliate. She was saying something about how it looked like a toddler drew it. What is this? Is this serious right now? My husband was responding to her the way he responds to most confrontational situations, head down, voice quiet, trying to explain himself rationally. He said something like, I was just trying my best, and I watched her look at him, really look at him, and call him the R word. I don't fully remember crossing the distance between us. I remember my hand, and I remember the sound, and I remember her going down. I've never punched anyone in my life. I didn't know I could hit that hard. A woman nearby grabbed my arm and pulled me back, and I didn't bite her. I was already done. I didn't want to do anything else. I just told my husband to pack up his pencils and go home. He looked at me for a second, then he packed up quietly and left. Someone called the police. I stayed. I answered questions. I was honest about what happened. A woman pressed charges, and now I have a court date and a real possibility of jail time. And I've been sitting with that for 4 days trying to figure out how I feel about it. The thing is, I'm not sure I feel bad. I know I should. I know legally I made a terrible decision, and I'm not disputing that. I know there were other options, and I didn't take any of them. I'm not proud that my first instinct was to hit someone. I'm really not. But I keep coming back to the moment I walked back up to that table. I keep coming back to the way he said I was just trying my best. The way he said it so carefully. Like he was genuinely trying to give her useful information. Like maybe if he explained it correctly, she would understand. He wasn't angry. He was just trying to make sense of someone being cruel to him, which is something he has had to do his entire life, and which I have watched him do over and over with more patience than I will ever have. He didn't deserve that. He has never deserved any of it. When I got home, he was sitting at the kitchen table. He'd taken his sketchbook out again, and he was still working on the drawing, the trees, exactly what he'd planned. I sat down across from him and didn't say anything, and he didn't say anything either. He finished it about 20 minutes later. He pushed it across the table to me. At the bottom, in his handwriting, for you, my best friend. He didn't ask what happened. He didn't ask why the woman fell or why I looked the way I looked. He just came home and finished the drawing because that's what he said he was going to do. The drawing is on our refrigerator now. I have a court date in 6 weeks. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm trying to find a lawyer who understands the situation, and I'm trying not to catastrophize. But every time I start to spiral about it, I look at that drawing and I think about him sitting at the kitchen table finishing it, calm, focused, completely himself. And I can't bring myself to say I'd do anything differently. I'd do it again. I'd do it every time.